Welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about how professionals animate, and then I want to talk about how you can animate in your custom own workflow. I have my own custom workflow created, but feel free to create your own workflow. So how professionals usually animate is they start by the process called blockout. So they block out all of the keyframes without watching any interpolation. So what I mean by that is if I select all of my character's bones, hover over my timeline, press on A, press on T, and set this to constant. Now if I watch my animation, I only jump between one pose to another. And that's a great way to feel the pose and feel the motion without having any interpolation, without having any distractions. Now that's a very good workflow. It's a professional, it works all the time, it's industry standard, but I personally don't use it because I feel like if I jump straight into Bezier interpolation keyframes, I can save a lot of time. Maybe the final result will not look as good and accurate, but still, if the result is great, if you can tell a story with the result, then I think it's a good result. So yeah, this is the custom workflow. So what they do, first they do blocking. Then they add a breakdown keyframes. For example, they go on frame 20, maybe add a breakdown keyframe between the key poses. So these three keyframes are the key poses right now. And if you want to add breakdowns, you want to go between them. So you want to go on frame 20 and you want to go on frame 55, for example. So if I go on frame 20, I can add some breakdown. For example, maybe I can move this slightly backwards, move this slightly up. You don't have to follow along, and then go here and do the same thing. Maybe move it slightly down, GZ, move it down, bend it forward, and then bend it forward again. And then after that, they usually add in between poses. If you want to fill out the keyframes and add more keyframes, you can add in betweens between the key poses and the breakdown poses. So maybe I can go to frame 10, add another pose, for example, GZ, move it down, and then you go scrub through the timeline and watch your animation like this in a stop motion, basically. And once you're done, once you're happy with the blockout, once you feel like you have all the poses created, then you can select everything by pressing A. Then you can press on A to select everything on the timeline as well. Press on T and then click on Bezier. Once you click on Bezier, that's the process called splining. So you might have heard splining before, and splining means going from constant interpolation to Bezier interpolation. Now, once you go on splining, you usually want to go inside the graph editor and then polish your animations. Because splining is just basically pressing A, selecting everything, and then making everything Bezier in Blender. And after splining usually comes polishing. And after polishing, basically the animation is finished. So you can polish the animation either directly in the viewport or directly inside the graph editor. So that's the professional workflow which they use in animations. But I personally don't do that. I personally select everything and make it Bezier straight away. But I don't have to do that because Blender comes with Bezier interpolation right away. So I start with Bezier interpolation and I add the keyframes as I go on and watch my animation progression in real time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted you to keep that in mind. For the rest of the course, I'm going to use my own custom workflow. I'm just going to start straight with Bezier interpolation. I know some professionals might not agree with that, but this workflow works for me. And again, if the animation looks decent, if the animation looks good and you can tell a story with it, then I think it's a good animation. With that being said, let's move on to the next chapter where we're going to animate this cool jumping animation.